Okay, Ashwini, Gujral clearly is in a party mood. He decided to party hard last night and he partied so hard that he found it difficult to get up in the morning. Ashwini, is that the reason why you are joining us late today?
Good morning, Nikunj. Actually, I got locked out of my office, so finally I've been able to break in.
Hangover effect, Ashwini, that's what you call it when you get locked outside your own office.
Well, somebody locked it from inside.
Okay, strange things do happen. I'm glad you are joining us. 1 hour into the market, how things looking?
Yeah, I've been saying that, this range is narrowing and, earlier what was 5600 to 5750, this time we may not be able to get beyond 5670, 5680. Very difficult to trade the indices in this sort of a situation. So basically you try to look for sectors on the upside as well as on the downside, which are doing well or which are doing poorly. I think we are banking on media doing well. Today you are getting a dip in media stocks, so that's probably a buying opportunity. Similarly, a bit of rally in the IT sector, so probably that's a good opportunity to go short on that. But overall, you have to be light because the market is basically 15 points this way and that, nothing much going on.
Seems like Ashwini was actually celebrating Mitesh's birthday. Mitesh, what about your commodity trades?
I've got a buy on lead, in the range of about 120 half to 121 on the MCX. And I would look for a retest of earlier highs of 123 over here and suggest keeping a stop below 119.8. Nickel, in fact, is a sell today. I've been, waiting for some kind of long trade to be initiated over here, and I've been suggesting that, you should buy once it starts trading above 892. But after multiple attempts, nickel prices on the M6 have failed to do that, and I think yesterday we saw some kind of a short-term breakdown happening instead. So typically, it should retest the recent lows of 865, and keeping that as a target, I would suggest going short with a stop at about 883.25.
Okay. So Ashwini got locked out of, from his office. Mitesh was celebrating his birthday last night. So Sandeep Wagle is the only sane one there. Sandeep, let me come to you for your trading ideas.
Nikunj, buying Oro Pharma, stop loss 174, target 188. Buying JP Power, stop loss 3650, target 39.
What is making JP Power so special, Sandeep, and why is that stock popping up again and again on your radar?
Nikunj, I will not be able to answer why it is popping up. Very clearly we are seeing good price movements. It is good volume built up is being seen, and I see the stock show further momentum. And as I said in the morning that I don't see the Nifty tank at all. Though 20-30 points higher up, there will be some consolidation. This is a stock market where you will have a lot of individual stock specific moves, and I see the stock performing.
Okay, Sandeep, we'll let you go on that note. Appreciate you joining in on the show as always. JP Power holding up, United Phosphorus looking good, Shriram Transport, Crompton are the names which are actually continuing to hold up. Gains of anywhere between about 2 to 2.5% coming in. United Spirits seeing some profit taking, as is the case with some of these broadcasting names. So TV 18, Network 18, and I think they have started off in the red right now. Network 18, the last time I checked, was down about almost 6%. Let's see what Sun TV as well is up to, and whether or not TV Today too is starting off in the red. No, Sun TV continues its traction, holding up by about 0.6%. TV Today though has taken a bit of a breather, down about 1.5%. Mitesh, let's revisit the charts of Sun TV at 371 plus.
Oh yes, a very positive chart. See, yesterday we got a breakout. I think today could be a quiet day, but I think overall the stock clearly is in a uptrend, and I think now it should not go below levels of 360, 362, which were the highs which the stock recorded in the month of October, or the first and second week of October. I think keeping that or keeping a stop loss just below that, I think I would play for a target of 389, 390, possibly even 450 is what I would look for in the next few months. If you take a slightly medium to long term kind of horizon.
Mitesh, your thoughts on how trade has been so far in your trading calls?
See, I think the Nifty, still continues to offer some hope by managing or holding above the 5600 mark. I think, as I mentioned earlier as well, that We might do a range of about 80 odd points, 55.90 to about 56.75 is the short-term range, but overall structure is slightly weak. On the individual side, I think the breadth still is very, very positive, and I think that's where the action is. So focus will remain about that unless until market starts trading below 55.90. Adani Ports is the first buy call, which can be bought with a stop at 128 for a target of 140. McLeod Russell, we've seen a lot of strong traction happening in Tata Coffee, Tata Global, and from the same sector, I think McLeod also bounced back yesterday nicely. Has got into a short-term up move, which can take it to levels of 335, 340 on the upside, and I would suggest buying with a stop below 313. And finally, a Shriram Transport Finance, which is kind of negating a distribution pattern. Typically, these kind of reversals or negations result into a strong or sharp up move in the short term. So can be bought with a stop at 633 for a target of 680.
So let's go to Ashwini for his mid-morning trading ideas.
Well, overall, the market remains extremely flat. Bank Nifty is in a range of about 50 points. Nifty is in a range of about 20 points. So very difficult to get any kind of movement. But still, there are a few stocks that people can look at. Amtech India is a buy with a stop about 107, target of 118. Shriram Transport is a buy with a stop about 650, target about 715. Hindustan Unilever is a buy with a stop about 520, target of 546.
Ashwini, at 56.36, what's your sense on the Nifty and how are you placing your bets this morning?
Well, as I said yesterday, there is really nothing going on in the market, and generally, such narrow ranges tend to chop you around. Chances are we are getting into a very low volatility environment from where a sustainable trend often emerges. So we should just wait for the market to break out of this narrow range before we trade on the index. Even otherwise, if you look at most sector indices other than say an FMCG or, just today an IT index, most indices are also getting flatter and flatter. So the idea is to look for off-center type of stocks. The first stock here is Canara, Canfin Home. This is a housing company owned by Canara Bank. This is a buy with a stop about 137, target of 153. There's a strong uptrend in housing finance companies. HDFC is at a new high, so there should be some rub-off even here. M&M Financial is a buy with a stop about 960, target of 1080. NBFCs are showing upside traction and it's made a fresh intermediate high, so this is worthwhile buying. Ashok Leyland seems to have bottomed out. This is probably the worst of the CV stocks, and given that this is now bottoming out, smaller stocks tend to run up quite a bit. This is a buy with a stop about 25, target of 36. It's making higher tops, higher bottoms, which is always a good thing. Karnataka Bank is one of the strongest banking stocks, and it's rallied again yesterday. So this is a buy with a stop about 139, target of 156.
Okay, so Ashwini is betting on NBFCs and financial names this Friday morning. Mitesh, like Ashwini mentioned, it's very low volumes that we're seeing in the markets over the last few sessions. So given that we are in the weekend session now, how do you think the Nifty is going to do today, as well as your recommendations?
I think the way we are approaching the market is that as long as we don't close below 55.90, I think on the individual stock side you will get a lot of long ideas. The breadth of the market has been encouraging, and I think that's where the action is happening, which is basically the broader indices of CNX 500 or the Nifty Mid Cap Index, and we try to identify stocks from that space as well. The first one is Wellcorp, I think identified at 103 now. It's already moved up, so if somebody's holding out, I think 109 to about 110 is a good trading target. It's given a short-term breakout, so that's the minimum which I'm looking for. Possibly 115 can also be tested over here. The second one is a buy on IndusInd Bank. We have been very positive on the stock for some time now. It's kind of given fresh intraday buy signals today, so I think it should resume the uptrend which was there in the stock a couple of weeks back, and I would look for a target of 397 and suggest a stop loss just below 378. The third one is JP Power. It's had a good rally in the month of September. The entire October and November went into consolidation. I think it's bounced back from medium term averages, which is very positive. Should retest the earlier highs of 39.75 or 40 on the upside, and I would now buy it with a stop at about 37.25. And finally, Shriram Transport Finance is the last pick. It's kind of come out of a distribution pattern. It's negated a bearish pattern, which in the short term should actually turn out to be a positive event on the charts and should give a good upward bias. The first target I would look for the stock to hit here would be around 680, and would now suggest buying with a stop below 633.
Okay, so that's Welspun Corp, IndusInd Bank, JP Power as well as Shriram Transport Finance that Mitesh is advocating as some buy ideas this Friday morning. I'm sure you've got lots of questions and queries. Well, we're here to answer them for you. Let's get straight to it. Our first question for the day comes in on an L&T November futures. We've got Ravi Chugh who is joining in on the phone line from Indore with his query on the same. Ravi, hi. Thanks for being with us on the show. Go ahead with your query.
Yes, thank you. I have got two lots of L&T at 1665. Should I expect this stock to touch 1700 in next 1 or 2 months?
Sir, what happens if it touches 1500 first? Can you take that kind of mark to market? See, buying futures is not a replacement for equity. Futures has to be bought as a short-term speculative instrument, which should have maximum, if you are expecting 1700 and the stock is now at 1600, so you're already losing much more than you expected to make. So I don't think it's a great risk reward. If I were you, I would convert L&T lots into cash L&T. While that would require some amount of funds, but at least you will not get hit by mark to market. As far as the futures position is concerned, you should exit. If you can convert it into equity, the support is about 1570. That should be your broad stop loss here. And a target of 1850 if the market reverses and restarts its rally, and that's possible.
Okay, so Ravi, hope we've been able to help you with your question on L&T. Let's move on to another infra name, and this time around we've got a query coming in from Mysore. Prashant joins us on the phone line. Prashant, hi, thanks for being with us. Tell us about your query on IVRCL Infra.
Madam, I wanted to know the future prospects of IVRCL Infra. As of now, I'm holding 800 shares at the rate of 90 rupees. I'm willing to stay for a time horizon for 3 years, madam, for a long-term view.
I have a very simple question. Did it start out as a long-term investment or it became long-term after the short-term investment failed? Because, you are sitting on a 50% loss, long-term or short-term. I don't think any investor or trader should, have a 50% loss before he decides, what to do. Well, 3 years, who knows? See, this is, stocks I often say is not property. If you hold IVRCL for 30 years, I'm still not sure whether 90 will come. So the idea should be that, yes, infrastructure is in a hole and, maybe if things change, all infrastructure stocks start coming back. But, that's a long shot. In the markets, as I explained yesterday, things which have high return on capital employed or things which don't require too much capex tend to do well. These days, it's the consumption space that's doing well. Infrastructure is not doing so well. There are too many problems. Will those problems get solved? That is a bet you have to take, and you are expecting to make money post you have achieved 90 bucks, which is more than double of your current price. I don't think this is, much of a investment or a trade. If I were you, I would, probably take my losses and move on to sectors which are doing well in this market, rather than those which are mired in problems, land problems, clearances, etc. So, if I were you, I would exit. Still, you have to take the call whether you are willing to bet for the next 3 years.
Okay, Prashant, advisable to exit when it comes to an IVRCL. Our last and final query comes in via email from Jay Chandran, a student. Now, he wants to know if it's the right time to buy into SKS Microfinance. He says that he's a short-term investor. Advisable for Jay to do the same, Ashwini?
Well, again, I hope he does not become a long-term investor if the investment, quote-unquote, fails. Well, it's in a short-term uptrend. Is it a great business, great company? That's all debatable. This used to be a 1500 rupee stock. Now it's down to 100 bucks. You have elections coming in a lot of states. as well as the federal government. So, the kind of people you are dealing with here as customers are, fairly powerful politically. So, all that you have to take on board. But if you are a short-term investor, which I equate with being a trader, you can buy with a stop about 112, get out if 112 is taken out, and maybe you could get a target about 152. But again, take all the caveats on board. This sector is not without political influence, and we've seen wherever the government meddles a lot, generally, those stocks go down.